Welcome back, sunshine. Oh, hello, everybody. It's your local friendly neighbourhood fuck up. As you know, I am a little bit of a chicken fancier, but I am not going to count my chickens just yet, because in a weird stroke of luck around about the houses, it's working. Got 1.1 kilowatts coming in. I'm charging with the battery with 1.05. We've started to export any excess to the grid, and when I did a kettle test and a load test, we are showing a load when it outstrips the solar production. What I did do is, it is option 4, and thanks very, very much to Carl for all the comments and the messages and the phone calls, holding my hand and throwing ideas at me. One of the things was, he was saying is put it into standby mode before it will accept a setting. I couldn't actually get into standby mode, but it was saying about selecting option 4, or this can be found in menu 4. And in menu 4 was the UPS, which is the uninterrupted power supply. This will only send 13 amps into the uninterruptible power supply. And it's for things like emergency lighting, you know, children's cot incubators and computers and things like that. So if there's a power cut, it's a different circuit for emergency purposes. Now what I did, it's something that I thought I wouldn't need to do, because it's a completely different circuit to the grid. And it's something that I'm not using and got no real need for it. Power cuts are very, very rare in Scotland, believe it or not, and not worth the extra investment of cabling and another sub consumer unit and breakers and fuses and whatever. But I just thought, oh fuck it, nothing to lose, I'll hit enable, and the inverter blinked as it should do to say that it's accepted a setting. There was a solenoid click from inside here, and the load and the PV split apart and started to register. A smiley face reappeared and is starting to charge the battery with whatever spare is going. So fingers are crossed I'm not going to touch bugger all else for the rest of the day. Just going to let it run and monitor into the dark hours and see what happens with the load and the flow from the battery, and we'll take it from there. Now we're in a cloudy spell, I might go and put the kettle back on. I don't know. I am about due a coffee. So, yeah. I think I might be alright, but time will tell, especially with the exporting of energy from the battery. Yeah, that's what I said about counting chickens and not counting them just yet. Right, the house is running the main oven, which is 2.5 kilowatts, and I have got the kettle full up just there, and the kettle's running, so that's 3 kilowatts. I've only got 1.4 kilowatts of solar coming in, still charging the bloody battery. Really the load from the battery should be going that way. So it's still not quite right. But at least I can save the solar that's being generated. I can pump that into the battery for Big Blue to use. So we're half the way there. Now, when I first had a bit of luck, I didn't catch it on camera because I was too excited, but that definitely showed the load. It was up at nearly 2 with a kilowatt of solar, but I'm still charging the battery. So I don't know. Uh, 1.5 minus the 4 0.6, so it's there or thereabouts, but it's not responding to a load at the moment. So, to be continued. This is just normal operation. I've got no real, I haven't got a kettle going or anything like that at the moment, so 940 watts of load, 2 kilowatts of solar, and 1.06. So that's kind of tying in. I need to get some power going that way when I've got a heavy load on. So it's going to be lots of twiddling and running in and out, turning loads on until something decides to work. That just saved my life. Always double fucking check your isolator switches, because I'd stupidly turned that on. 3 bare fucking wires to rewire that onto the PV grid, the PV sub consumer unit. Nice big flash, and a little bit of poo came out. I've just been indoors, and the breaker in the PV sub consumer unit just saved my arse because it tripped. So that works. So at least the breakers on the safety side of things work with this, so that's that tested. The breaker in the cupboard is still off, but even so, I shall be turning that off because I've got to rewire that, because I put it onto, unplug that because it's now fucking bare end. When I was going through the process of elimination of why it wasn't bloody working, I isolated it from the the PV sub consumer unit breaker box, just in case that was interfering it. So I got it onto the house ring main consumer unit off of the mains. That didn't make any difference. Now it's working ish. I want to go back onto the PV sub consumer unit so that I can turn the charge and discharge amperages all the way up to the 60 amps. Safety third. Oh, fuck me. Oh, come on, sunshine, play the game and come back. Oh, it's deteriorating. Oh, well, good news is I'm still alive. Just turned all the breaker and that back on, and this should be alive-o. Smiley face, 1.4 kilowatts. One and a bit going to the battery, no load. Something's still not quite right with the load. The oven and the kettle is on, and I'm not showing anything. One and a bit of solar. So why is that not playing the game again? Good morning, everybody. Shaping up to be a beautiful day. It is 10 to 8 in the morning. The sun has just peeked over the hill and the solar woke up, and so did the Lux power. And I really do not understand what this thing is doing. It's possessed and has got a mind of its own. Just refresh. The refresh rate on the software is really quite poor. So we've got 506 watts of solar coming in, but we're charging with 1051 watts and allegedly exporting 77 watts with no house load. So kettle's on. No load. Still charging the battery, whereas now the energy should be going that way to cover load and consumption. So why we're charging now with more than we're producing does not make any sense to me. So I've got myself a very expensive uncontrollable battery charger, and that's about as far as I can get at the moment. Again, I've been driving myself absolutely potty, doing load tests with the kettle, the big oven, a fan heater, and all of yesterday I was in and out, running around, and it just will not cover any load. Briefly yesterday afternoon it started to show a load independent of the solar PV, but then we ended up back to square one late yesterday afternoon, so I just left it. I was in a huff, just leave it, and then this morning it's deciding to do its own thing again. Oh, it's nearly like sunny and hot Australia. Look at that Not a cloud in the sky. Absolutely featureless blue sky. It's going to be a lovely day, hopefully. So here's me at the user interface. And it's showing 600 watts of solar. It's about right compared to the energy meter that's indoors. We was charging there with a squeak over 1 kilowatt, showing no load, and we're exporting a little bit out to the grid. So with only a little bit of solar coming in, charging with a kilowatt, why the fucking hell are we exporting something? Come on, you. We're exporting 70 watts, which is a minuscule amount, I know. But and there we go, we're charging with 23 amps. Yesterday afternoon I went back to the wiring into the PV sub-consumer unit, and it got upset completely and didn't fucking work at all. So I went back to just a ghetto hack wiring test situation so that I'm taking the power off of the house ring main consumer unit to try and separate it from the PV side of things, just in case there was a funky feedback loop. I'll turn that Wii energy meter on. Got that off of Amazon. It's completely independent. It's completely independent from the inverter. Unplug the CT clamp. Try and get it in there one-handed. Come on, fingers. And there we are, showing a load of we're showing a load there. It's probably going up and down a little bit because of the hot water diverter box will just be waking up. So also the hot water diverter box is gobbling whatever spare energy we have got coming in off of the house solar. So if the hot water's gobbling up whatever is spare from the PV generation at the moment, why are we charging with a solid 1050 watts when we've only got 600 of solar coming in, and the hot water, the diverter box, is doing its thing and making lovely, lovely hot water? We're still exporting 70, 80 watts, not, and I can plug you back in there. And another thing, so the only thing I can really do is try and turn the charge current down so that I'll get to a point of equilibrium with the solar, so that I can charge whatever we generate during the day, but then I'm not covering any usage or any load. So I honestly don't know if it's me or if it's this, but I'm at the point of giving up and getting eBay and PayPal involved. I've sent numerous requests to M&S Renewables for technical assistance, and we're just being dinghied, as they say in Scotland, or patched is the other one that they say around these parts when you don't answer a phone call. Oh, they're patching me. But so yeah, being ignored by the supplier. It took absolutely feckin' weeks to get an installer code for access to the software to interrogate the thing and do settings and all of that jazz. We got that at the start of the week, on Monday, and all week I've been banging my head against a brick wall because this thing won't do what it says on the tin. I've got a bit of a full-on day today. Got a hospital appointment with Mum, and also I've got cousins coming up to visit and stay. So I don't really know what else I can do apart from have a little cry in a corner. So, thanks very much for all of the comments, and thanks very much to Carl for the phone calls and the trying to work the software remotely at his end on his computer. They sort of take one step forward and then take two back. It's a real puzzle. So I'll sign off for now, because I've really got to get the skates on. Oh God, that's bright and sunny. Oof. It's going to be a good generation day today, hopefully, as long as the weather forecast holds up. So, thanks very much. Look after yourselves. Stay strong. Bye bye for now.